my guest today is Lowestoft Silversmith Miriam Hanid. She has just won 3 gold awards plus another one for her work in what are considered to be the Oscars of the jewellery world. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So has this happened fairly recently, is it?
Yes, it was in March.
So you supply these pieces, they all judge them, and then you win 3 gold medals.
I know, I was quite surprised this time. It was for a centrepiece made for the Goldsmiths Company, and I entered it in the chasing section, which is my signature technique. So luckily it won 3 gold awards.
So is that in 3 different categories, is that?
Yes, one was the senior award, which is for outstanding presence in the competition, and then another one was the Goldsmiths Company Award, and another one was the gold award in chasing.
And we'll explain what chasing is in a minute, because
Yes.
I'll get you to talk through that. So and do people enter this? Is this a UK competition? Is it
Yes.
a worldwide competition?
You have to be working in the UK to enter.
And so you go for it, or they invite you to go for it?
Actually, anyone can enter, actually. So, it's kind of a good benchmark of how you're doing in the industry, because it's all your peers that are kind of judging. So it's quite exciting.
And there are all sorts of categories? So
Yes, so there's engravers, chasers, silversmiths, even die sinkers who engrave sort of signet die stamps for signet rings and things like that, and also modelers, small workers. There's all sorts of categories.
I've put on Facebook, because it's really hard to describe something, isn't it? And you need to see photos of this, really. And you have your own website, so Miriam Hanid, HANID.com. Or if you look at my Facebook page, you can see a bit of see you working on this centrepiece as well. So chasing, is this sort of engraved? Tell me how it works, what it is.
It's a traditional technique using hammers and punches. So the Tutankhamun's mask was all made using chasing and repoussé. So it's a very ancient technique, and it's the same today as it was thousands of years ago. So it's a technique of putting relief into the silver by hammering it with steel punches and a hammer.
So you put lots of little dots in, so they sort of almost
Some chasing does, yeah, but I use quite kind of soft, smooth punches, so it's very tactile and very smooth.
So you've got the sort of the prototype of the work in front of you, haven't you? And it's a lovely square satin silver, as you explained to me earlier, and it's got swirls in it. So you wouldn't think of it in terms of. Is that so? You do those in terms of little hammers to get that swirl. That's quite fine
kind
work,
of hammers and punches. So this piece is actually made using very big steel tools and really hammering very hard. So it's a good way to let out all your anger. But it's a very kind of satin finish, because a highly polished silver does tend to pick up fingerprints quite quickly. So I like the kind of satin effect.
It's lovely. Thank you. How long have you been a silversmith?
10 years now. It's gone so quickly.
And we'll find out how you came to be one in the first place. And last time you were here, and I missed talking to you then, you were doing a piece of work that was part of a walking stick that went to the Queen.
Yes,
is that
exactly.
Right?
That was really exciting to be working on that. And it was actually 60 years ago. My great-grandfather was making 2 pieces for the Queen in 1952. So all the more special.
So you followed in his footsteps?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yeah.
So he was a silversmith as well?
Yeah, he had his own gunsmithing and silversmithing company in Kenya.
But you've done yours in Lowestoft.
Yes.
That's just different. So take me through how you made this piece. It was a commission. A lot of your works, I guess, are commissions,
exactly, made to order. So the Goldsmiths Company, who are one of the 12 great livery companies of London, they commission contemporary silver for their modern collection. And I have 5 pieces in the collection now.
Isn't that a huge
patron?
honour?
Yeah, it's really good. And this piece was a Prime Warden special commission. So every year the Goldsmiths Company has a Prime Warden, and they get to commission a special centrepiece.
So are they the boss? Is that what it means?
Kind
basically?
of, yeah. And this is like a 50 centimetre silver dish for the modern plate display. So it's on display in Goldsmiths Hall. And it's quite a kind of striking design. You can see an image on my website.
So how do you come up with it? You're asked to do this size. Do they dictate the shape as well?
The design was quite open, so I worked with the Prime Warden on the design, and we just kind of came up with some ideas. But he was quite open for me to do any design that I wished to, really. The Goldsmiths Company just specified the size, which had to be in line with the other pieces in the collection.
So take me through how you decided and why you decided what you did.
Well, the kind of theme for the piece was unity in diversity. So I discussed this with William Parenti, he was the Prime Warden, and he really resonated with that theme. And the idea was that we're all kind of the same but different, and we're all connected and interconnected. And I really wanted to portray that in the design of the piece. So all the spirals interlock into each other, and if you take out one arm out of one spiral, it kind of takes it out of the next. So it's almost demonstrating how we're all connected. So the title Radiance came about because I just asked William to think about something that was special to him, or what unity meant to him, and he came up with that word. So it's really fitting for the piece.
And the whole piece itself, I mean, do you make it from scratch?
Yes.
So do you make the actual plate,
yes.
the first plate? Wow.
All by hammering.
So how do you get, so you have a lump of, is it just a blob?
It's a sheet. It's a sheet.
Okay.
So I buy all my silver from a company in Birmingham, and they manufacture the silver into any shape or size you want. So I bought the disc as a 50 centimetre disc, and then spent 3 days working out this design, which was really mind-boggling. And I had to use colour coding to actually...
Can you draw on it? How do you...
Yes, you can. You can kind of draw on it with a pencil, and then I use my my steel tools to actually chase the metal. But there's a substance called pitch, which you use to kind of support the metal for chasing. So I stick the piece in on this pitch, the tar, and then hammer away for days and days.
Because it took 200 hours or something?
Yes, close to 200 hours. So.
And is it really fine work? So it really is?
It can be, yeah. So this piece, if you see all these fine lines, that's thousands of hammer blows to create those lines. So over all, like the whole centrepiece, it's, I don't know, probably 1 million hammer blows or something.
Wow, so you spend just literally hours just to bash it and then have another look. And
yeah, exactly. But it's quite meditative, so you can kind of get into the flow of chasing and engraving as well, which I use in some of my other pieces.
So it's a bit like a lot of things that you use your hands for. They are.
Yes.
It's really absorbing doing it.
Definitely. And there's lots of skills involved. And even in running a business, it's the business skills and kind of communicating with galleries and clients. And I'm a kind of one-woman band.
And then the amazing thing for me is that you've pretty much made this pay since you started, haven't you?
Yes, it has been difficult at times. I think the first 2 years I was just really making work, kind of working all through the night to create work for exhibitions and to try and get my name out there. But then it started to really take off, and now I have a waiting list of commissions ready to do. So it is going well.
And tell me about, because I noticed you've got lovely jewellery on, as you would expect, silver jewellery.
Yes.
So you've got a bangle, and your earrings as well.
Yes.
Are they yours as well?
I do make a few pieces of jewellery as well. You can see them on my website. So this one was actually based on acacia pods and leaves, and it was for a client in Australia, and I had some copies made. So
it's beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you.
And the earrings the same. And I think the sort of the wild world, you do take a lot
Definitely.
of your inspiration from nature, don't you?
Yes, and the sea. So I live just outside Lowestoft, and I love walking on the beach and looking at the sea, and it really kind of just clears my mind when I go down there, and I can come up with new ideas for pieces.
Yeah, it's funny how going for walks. A lot of my ideas are when I used to walk the dogs.
Exactly.
It's true,
it
though,
helps
isn't it?
you reflect on things and digest.
And you've got, these are little bowls here, aren't
Yes.
they? And this one, am I right in thinking that's seagulls on it as well?
Seabirds,
They're beautiful. And that one is sort of more waves.
Yeah, kind of engraved
waving.
waves. So engraving gives a more scintillating effect, which catches the light.
So,
Yeah.
and so the things that you have been commissioned to do, are there a huge variety? Is there some of it jewellery? Is more of it artwork?
Yeah, I mean, my signature skills are chasing and engraving. So people have commissioned centerpieces, vases, tumbler cups. You know, they might have had special flowers that they like, and they would like to have that within the design. And I had one client who his wife had stargazers and freesias in her wedding bouquet, so he thoughtfully commissioned 2 tumblers with those flowers on.
Oh, how romantic.
And gave it to her for the silver wedding anniversary.
Dare I ask how much some of your work costs? Because it's going to take hours to make.
It ranges really from tumbler cups could be as low as 1,500. up to sort of £3,000-4,000 for more detailed designs, and then centerpieces sort of range from
£18,000. Some of your work is around the world, isn't it?
Yes, Hong Kong and Australia, the US, and all over Europe as well.
Anyone famous that you can tell us about? Mostly people say, I can't tell.
Well, the one famous one is the Queen, but there's other kind of very prominent collectors and things. So,
but you can't tell us.
No, but there's people who do have very large collections, and they have very amazing work in their collections. So it's an honour to be part of that.
How do you go about? Because you must have to put the mark, isn't it? The
hallmark. Yes,
exactly. So how do you go about having it? Do you have to have it passed or whatever?
Yes, exactly. So you send it to the assay office in London, which is actually at Goldsmiths Hall, where the Goldsmiths company is, and they test the metal by X-ray, and then if it's to a high enough standard, they stamp it with that mark.
And do you have a mark of your own?
Yes, it's MH in a little rectangle. So
is it complicated to get that in the first place? Do you have
no,
to have a
you can just register.
Just do it?
You can actually have as many sizes of that mark as you would like for different size pieces. So it's nice to know that in hundreds of years people can look back and think, Miriam made that.
And can look at that and say, that's a Miriam Hanid piece. But that is really exciting, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's really nice.
That is so clever. We'll take photos and put them on Facebook. I know you're going to put some on your pages, aren't you, as well?
Yes.
Have a key question.
Oh.
Help yourself, and you just have to tell me what the question is and then answer it.
Oh, if you could have any other career, which would it be? Well, I do sing as well, so I was in a band. I think I probably would have gone down the music route if I hadn't have gone down the art route. But when I was on my A-levels, my A-level art teacher, she saw that I could do very fine work, and she suggested the metalwork and jewellery course. So at the time, I was actually thinking of going to music school to do performance because I studied clarinet up to grade 7, and I nearly pursued it actually. But I just got a bit too nervous on stage, whereas silversmithing I can
You're sitting on your own.
Yeah, I can hide away and do that. So.
Are you glad, or is it a bit of you still wish maybe you'd done the singing?
No, I think I'm really happy in the job I'm in. I think I do love to do music in my spare time, but now I've kind of renounced that a bit to concentrate on my silversmithing.
It's just what an experience. 3 gold medals as well. And what was the other one? So it
was a bronze award for the design of the silversmithing.
My guest with us today is Miriam Hanid. She is a silversmith, and it's the most beautiful work, I have to say.
Thank you.
I sort of wish I could describe better. It's one of those things
hard to describe, isn't it?
You sort of need to see it,
yes.
don't you? And Matt has taken photos, and are you going to put them on your...
I will. I'll put the
Instagram,
photo up.
Is it?
Yes, Instagram. Yeah.
You have to ping them. And I know a lot of your work, you said, is on Instagram.
Yes.
And that gets a lot of people seeing it and inviting
definitely.
commissions.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, I mean, I put all the stages of making on Instagram, so if you want to see how the work is made, you can go on there. And also, it's a good platform for people to contact me.
And have you noticed that as over the 10 years you've been working?
Just this morning I was discussing a commission with someone in Hong Kong for a hulu vase.
What's a hulu vase?
It's kind of shaped a bit kind of with 2 bulbous parts to it, and then lots of chasing on it. He wanted to.
And has that come because you've done some work there as well?
Yes, I did a commission for the CEO of Sotheby's Asia, and he commissioned an incense burner for his sitting room.
You must have got used over the 10 years for you quoting sort of quite high prices for work and so on.
Some of the centerpieces, yeah. I mean, interiors is more where my work's going, I think, because the scale of the techniques I use, I really love working on a large scale, and that works really well in contemporary interiors.
And we were saying that silver is what you generally work in, but you have done gold as well.
Yes, I can do gold commissions and engraved and chased gold jewellery, but silver is my passion.
And are they very different to work? Is one
they
softer than the other?
Yes, 9-carat gold is horrible. It's very grainy. So 18 or 22, they're much more lustrous and much denser. So they're kind of very smooth to work with. But silver is also, it's got a lot of depth in it and kind of denseness to it. So it really polishes up well.
We'll find out how you came to be a silversmith in the first place,
Yeah.
but grew up in Lowestoft, so
Yes.
you are a local girl. You're still a local girl
still
as well.
by the sea.
And your dad, he's got a mobile home, and he helps you because he's an engineer.
Yes.
So he sounds a great character.
Yeah, he's been a huge help in my business. He helps me figure out difficult problems with commissions, and because he's very practical, he can help me make the tools to make these commissions as well. Because being the bespoke nature of my pieces means that every piece is different, so it all has different problems, every piece. So you kind of, two heads are better than one sometimes.
So you know what mark you want to make, but you might not have the implement to do it. Is that right?
Kind of, yeah. More about the kind of structure of the pieces. So say if I need to make a specific shape, it needs a certain shape tool to be able to hammer the silver into that shape, which they're called stakes. And also different shaped hammers. You know, he loves making all the tools on his lathe, so it's really helpful for my business.
So it's quite a lot of trial and error. He will make
Definitely,
something and then
yes.
That's quite interesting though, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah. And it helps to just have other people who are skilled around to look at problems with things.
And you mentioned earlier on that your great granddad had made something for the Queen. So
yes.
Was he a silversmith? Is it?
Yes, he had his business in Kenya, and he also made thousands of brass buttons for the army. So they were kind of doing them day and night, and it's just an amazing part of the family that I want to learn more about.
And was that an influence, or was it sort of just coincidental?
Funnily, no, I didn't know about him until I left uni. So
isn't that interesting?
Yeah, and I think my heart was just drawn to working with metal, and then I kind of found out more about it. It's amazing.
You mentioned earlier on that in fact music is your other love, and it's a really hobby, and you could have gone off and studied music.
Yes.
And you went to art college in a way, because I think at one stage you wanted to be a painter. Is that right?
Yes, I always wanted to be a painter. Even when I was very young, I would kind of draw on the walls and things, and also did a lot of painting. So I think you could say I'm a painter now, but I paint in metal.
So when did you discover? Was it at university? You did a course, and I guess you tried it just about every different sort of arts form there was, did you?
I tried everything in the metalwork and jewellery department. I did blacksmithing, enamelling, and all the jewellery, and also played around in the glass department. Shouldn't have really been in there, but I wanted to try everything.
Just try it.
And then it was only kind of 6 months before the end of my degree that I found the technique of chasing and repoussé, and I was in a bit of a panic because I didn't know what I was going to do for my final project, and then I found these techniques and I was away.
And you knew that was immediate. So what's repoussé?
It's pushing back the metal from the other side with steel tools. So you work the metal from both sides to create relief.
What was it you loved? Did you know what it was?
I think it's just the hammering, really, and just kind of getting in the workshop and hammering steel tools and just seeing that silver move as well. It's amazing.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Because the pieces you make are delicate, but it's obviously a really physical thing to do.
Yeah, if you see some of the videos of me chasing, I'll be releasing one of the actual making of the centrepiece soon. It's very physical, so really heavy hammering, and I can only do it for a few hours a day, and then you have to just give your body a break.
Who needs a gym then?
Yeah, you can let all your anger out with these hammers.
And how did you do with that final piece at university?
Oh yeah, that one, the collection I made actually had a really good response, and the first piece I made in silver sold at the degree show, so I was really happy about that.
And so did you know then that was what you were going to go off and do?
Yes, definitely. And then I went and did a postgraduate course at Bishopsland Educational Trust, which is a very small kind of educational trust that has 10 or 12 silversmiths a year, and you can go there and focus on your skills and really hone them and get specialist advice on it. So that helped.
There can't be many of you. Is it a skill that there aren't many of?
There's about 2,000 in the UK silversmiths working. So yeah, I suppose we're
doing the sort that you do, or
practicing silversmiths, making larger pieces.
But not all of them chasing.
No. So I think we are quite a small community, but what's really fascinated me is how generous people are within that community, and we all share skills, and we kind of share solutions to problems on Facebook groups and things, and it's just a lovely community to be in.
What was can you remember the first piece that you knew was sort of, right, I'm going to be all right, this is going to be, I can make my career here? Can you remember?
Actually, yeah, I suppose a patron of mine, John Makepeace, he's a furniture designer. He commissioned a large centrepiece while I was at Bishopsland, and I was working on that really kind of helped me start my business, because I had a job as a waitress until that point in my spare time, and at that point I gave up the job. So I just kind of had the faith that I could make money from my commissions, which is really nice to be able to do that.
So did he use it to put on his furniture?
Yes, he did. He had a 20-foot long ash dining table, and I visited his house, and it was made for that table. So a big centrepiece which was nearly 1 metre long.
Wow.
Yeah.
And from then on you didn't really look back?
No, I suppose not. But it's always a learning process. There's so much to learn within silversmithing, and it's constant solving of problems.
But I guess that's what you love. If you look back over the 10 years and think back to how much you knew then and how much you know
definitely.
now.
Yeah. I think there's still a long way to go, and there's still so much to explore within the visual language of what I do. But it's kind of having helpful people within the trade who are masters at it. One person is Malcolm Appleby, who has taught me such a lot. And he's up in Scotland, and he's a master engraver. And I'm making a series of short films about him and the Hand Engravers Association at the moment. And people like that who just inspire you are the really great teachers in silversmithing.
And by doing the videos, is that because you want to pass it on as well, the knowledge?
Yeah, I feel quite passionate because he helped me to find my style, I think, by observing how he's found his style. And every time I've been up to his workshop in Scotland, I've kind of been inspired. So I really wanted to just show what amazing work he does. And the Hand Engravers Association, we kind of get together and have these symposiums. And he's quite a kind of colourful character. You know, his workshop is filled with creativity, and it's just really lovely to be able to help in his journey by showing it to people, as well as kind of showing how he's taught me.
It sounds as if it's quite a solitary thing to be doing, is it?
It can be, I think, but there's always the exhibitions. So if I'm not working in my workshop, I'm driving off to London to be in an exhibition or meeting up with other silversmiths or clients. So I think there's the two elements to it, really.
It's a bit like being an author, isn't it? You write your book, but then you have to sell it. You go out and see all these people.
Go and see people.
From one to the other as well. Which is the work you've done that you've been most proud of?
I think probably the most difficult piece, which was the Cascade jug, and you can see that on my gallery and my website. It was a very technically difficult piece, and it took me between 2 and 3 years to actually finish it, because I was trying to get help from other master silversmiths, and it went really well in the end, the final jug, but it was a huge struggle to get there. And I think when you have those challenges, it just makes it all the more special, the end result.
So you know what you want to do, but you don't know how to. Is that it?
Oh, yeah, because it was very technically challenging in that it had 4 simultaneous solder joins on the piece. So it was kind of fitting all those together, and the order in which you solder it, it's quite complex.
So it isn't just the engraving. So obviously you have to join the handle to it, was it?
Exactly.
So
the silversmithing part.
So when you say it's simultaneous, that means you need to put it on and get it on all in one go. Is that right?
Yeah. So
it's a bit like trying to put the glue on the bottom of each piece and get it all on and go.
Exactly. And fitting it all together, as well as heating it up to red hot and soldering it was quite a challenge.
So I love that my dad used to solder metal. I don't know if the silver smells differently. It takes me back the smell of solder as you do it.
Yeah.
So what other techniques do you do? So you bash it?
There's hand raising. Hand raising is hammering a flat sheet of silver up to a vertical form, and you can see a video of that on YouTube, or there's a link on my website. And it's a very meditative technique where you just hammer away and you do round after round, and then you heat the metal, cool it, and it's just this really nice rhythm. And I like to kind of have a whole day of raising just to get into it. It's really nice.
And do you find the time just disappears?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I know people, my family have to come and drag me out of my workshop when I'm doing a project because I just get lost.
Might be there in the middle of the night.
I do, yeah.
And you've brought a book with you because I know you mentioned sort of a meditative state, and meditation is something that you do study, isn't it?
Yes, I do.
So it's Heartfulness, it's called.
Yeah, Heartfulness. I practice every day, and it's just really helped me to balance my mind. And Heartfulness is a very simple daily practice that you can do on your own and with the help of trainers. And I'm also a trainer. I can introduce people to Heartfulness. And it's just something that's really helped my creativity as well, diving into the heart, which is what we meditate on in Heartfulness. It's just been a really great practice.
When you say in your heart, is that just how you feel about yourself? Is it?
Yeah, so the heart is what kind of constitutes a human being, how you come across to others. You soft-hearted, cold-hearted. So it's in the heart that we feel things. So if we can kind of dive into that and really kind of balance our heart and our mind, it can help us in every sphere of life.
When did you discover that?
I was 19, so that was about 12 years ago. So I started quite early, and I think it's really helped me to just kind of further my business as well in making better decisions every day. So it's not just about going into your heart and being calm, it's about interacting with the world as well.
Gives you a bit more of a measured approach, maybe?
Yeah, balanced and grounded and centred.
Have you been to India? And
yes.
Is that where you learnt it? Or?
You can learn anywhere. So I started in London when I was studying Farnham, actually. And then every year I've been back to India to visit some of the meditation centres there and meet different people. And it's just a really lovely opportunity to meet people from all over the world that practice it because it's been practiced in 80 countries now, and it's really getting quite big, Heartfulness. So yeah, I do love to go away and meditate with others as well.
When I send out my questionnaire, I've got on that one of the questions is about travelling, and a lot of yours. Tell me that you must take me back to your camper van, because your dad.
Oh, yeah.
Your dad has a camper van, or
he does.
Yeah. He loves camping. All over?
He loves to build camper vans, and
does he build it? Does he do?
Yeah, he fits them all out, and
wow.
he's very skilled at that. So when I was younger, we went travelling all over Europe, camping.
It wasn't VW. What sort of camper vans? Not the old traditional.
All sorts, really. He's had quite a lot, but any kind of one.
He'll turn anything into a camper van, yeah.
And it's a very natural way of living, quite close to nature, and you can just park up anywhere and camp there. So yeah, I've travelled to kind of Austria and the mountains and Germany and France and all over the place, and it's just been a really lovely way to travel.
A nice freeway, isn't it? You're just taking
Definitely.
your house with you, aren't you, basically,
yeah,
wherever
exactly.
you go. Yeah.
And you have to be quite disciplined about what you take. Sort of very kind of compact.
Basic, yeah. And how you pack it, because otherwise it all falls out of the cupboards as you go around the corner.
Exactly.
Till I've done it.
Yeah, that's true.
So what are your plans for the future for your business?
I would like to continue making larger scale pieces. And also expand my business by having someone else on board to help me. So I have quite a lot of orders on at the moment, and it can get very busy and stressful. So having someone else to do part of the work, not the signature skills, but the basic forming of the silver, I think it's really nice to be able to work with someone on that.
So they can make the basic shape, and then you'll do the sort of the tracing or chasing,
yes.
and all the engraving and all that sort of thing.
Because there's only so many hours in a day, and you can only do as much as you can with all the other admin and emailing you have to do. So
you haven't got an invitation to the royal wedding. You
I don't know.
You haven't been asked to do anything specially for them.
You never know.
Wouldn't that be exciting?
Yeah.
It? What was it like making the piece for the Queen? Did you see?
It was lovely. I didn't get to meet her, but I do have a picture of her with the stick. So it was nice to know that she said she was absolutely thrilled with it. So that's nice
feedback. I wonder
feedback.
if she uses it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because you put silver work on a walking stick, was it?
Yes, it's a silver engraved band. So hill sticks or walking sticks generally have a silver band. And this one was engraved with an inscription, HM the Queen, from the Drapers Company, because they were the company that gifted it to her.
We'll have to have a close look at any footage of her at Balmoral and places to see what her sticks
know,
she
yeah.
You never know, do you? It's lovely meeting you. Thank you so much. And many congratulations on your award as well.
Thank you.
So if people want to have a look at some of your work, just search for your name really, Miriam Hanid, and Hanid is Hanid, and they'll find your website straight away.
Exactly.
And also have a look for YouTube and all sorts of places.
Facebook, Instagram,
wherever.
Yes.
She's taking over the world. Thank you so much. Oh, and you've got some demonstrations coming up in London as well, haven't you?
So if you want to see the silversmithing techniques up closer, you can come to Battersea Power Station and also the V&A. So I'll be demonstrating at both those places as part of London Craft Week, which is in May.
Brilliant.
So the details are on my website.
Fantastic. And I know you take classes and all sorts, or do master classes as well.
Yes, occasionally.
Good luck.
Thank you.
If you get any exciting commissions from famous people that you're allowed to tell us about, let
I
me
will.
know, won't you?
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
Final key question. You thought you'd got away
another
with
one.
this, didn't you?
Oh,
we've got
two
two
there.
You can take your pick.
What does it say? When did you last do some exercise?
Isn't that a typical? You've got that one.
Today, actually. I went for a lovely walk on the beach with my dog.
Oh,
so
what's
that
your
was
dog
nice.
called?
Time.
Okay, so Time. I won't go walk his Time because they'll be in trouble otherwise. What sort of dog?
He's a Lhasa Apso.
Brilliant. And does he sit in your studio as well?
No, he hates the workshop because he hates the noise.
The bangings.
He stays far away, apart from when he wants to go for a walk.
And then
he comes and gets me.
You need a break, he says. Miriam, lovely to meet you. Thank you.